reading a lot of fiction books to you guys, but I did get in some new nonfiction. I happen to know some people are going to be really excited to see these Who Would Win books back in the library. So I'm going to try and read one to you. This is not the easiest thing to read over a video, but I'm so excited. This one was just published and we've got it. So I'm going to read this one to you. Who would win? Green ants versus army ants by Jerry Pallotta, illustrated by Rob Bolster, and published and read with the permission of Scholastic. Published by. I didn't even know there were green ants and army ants. Let's see. What would happen if green ants had a war against army ants? Who do you think would win? I guess I think army ants, because maybe they have the most military power. Maybe that's why they're called army ants. What do you think? Let's see what they say. Meet a green ant. Scientific name, oh my goodness. That's the scientific name. You can read it on your own. Ants are insects that have a 3-section body: a head, a thorax, and an abdomen. The legs of an ant come out of its thorax. Insects have 6 legs. Did you know green ants are also called weaver ants or green tree ants? Wide awake fact: ants never sleep. Green ants live in Australia. Ants have a thin waist. They really do. Here's where they are in Australia. Meet an army ant. Scientific name, that one's not quite as hard, Eketon burchelli. In Africa, army ants are also called marabunta. Most ants and other insects have compound eyes. Army ants have 2 eyes and are mostly blind. This is what a compound eye looks like close up. You see that? Most army ants live in South America and Africa, and we're up here in California. So we're pretty far away from all these guys. And so if these guys live in Australia and these guys live in South America and Africa, do you think they'd run into each other? Colony. Most green ants live in colonies of about 500,000 ants. An ant colony is a group of ants living and working together. 500,000 equals 500,000 ants. That's 500,000 ants. Fact: a colony could be as few as 20 ants or up to many thousands of ants. A legion. Army ants live in a legion of between 500,000 and 1,000,000 ants. A legion means an army or a large number. Scientists once discovered a legion of about 20 million army ants. 1,000,000 looks like this. See that? 1 0 0 0 0 0 0. It means 1,000 thousands. Name fact: army ants got their name because they act like a well-trained army. Ants have been on Earth for more than 100 million years. Ants were around when dinosaurs walked on Earth. Some ants may have had fights with dinosaurs. Trees. Green ants live in trees. Why live on the ground when you can live more safely in a tree? Down-to-earth fact: Except for green ants, almost all other ant species live on the ground. So green ants are the only one. Did you know every ant has a job? Some ants cut, other ants hold, and other ants glue. Green ants weave homes made of leaves. One of the largest green ant colonies ever seen was spread over 12 trees. Wow. Green ants usually stay in one place. This is what ant larvae look like. Fun fact, green ants use the fluid from their larvae as glue. Definition, a larva is a young insect. Ground. Army ants live on the ground. They do not build permanent places to live. Army ants are often on the move. About every 2 weeks, they bivouac to another location. Did you know that word means a temporary camp? Fact, army ants are nomads. A nomad lives in more than one place. Movement fact, when ants move, they march in a fan-shaped swarm, just like this. So I guess they have one person leading, and then two, and then three, and then it gets bigger and bigger and wider when they're moving. That way they all stay together, I guess. Society. Every ant in the green ant colony has a job to do. Their slogan might be, do your job. Every green ant is an engineer ready to build a nest or help its colony. Workers. Worker ants build and fix their nest. Scouting. Oh, and then there's a scout, a drone, a queen, and a soldier. Scouting fact. Scout ants go look for food. Drones are the only male ants, so they're the only boy ants in the colony. There is only one queen in most ant colonies. The queen lays all the eggs. The colony must protect the queen. If the queen dies, the colony will eventually disappear. Soldier ants. Soldier ants protect the nest. They fight enemy ants. Other worker ants work in the nursery, taking care of the larvae, the infant ants. Family structure. A common human family structure has a mom, a dad, and a few kids. The average army ant family has one mom, the queen, 20 dads, the winged drones, 20 potential new moms, winged princesses, and 500,000 to 1 million kids, worker ants and soldier ants. Wow, that's a lot of kids. An ant colony has no president, prime minister, or king, but there is a queen. An ant colony thinks together as one unit. So this says a major worker, a minor worker, and a soldier. So those are the 500,000 to 1 million kids. Mandibles. An ant's major weapon is its mandibles. Mandibles are part of an animal's jaw. These are the mandibles of a green ant. The mandibles have moving parts that can bite, pick up, and hold food. Jaws. The pinchers of ants are also called its jaws. This is the jaw of a soldier army ant. Many insects only live 2 weeks. Ants are among the longest living of all insects. Some queen ants have lived up to 30 years. Little bitty ant. If you were an ant, which jaw would you rather have? There are several types of ant jaws. Wide, skinny, serrated, rounded, jagged, straight. Ants do not eat solid food. They only eat liquids. Entomology is the study of insects. You can tell how a bug eats or behaves by its mouth parts. A bee is a licker. It would enjoy an ice cream cone, just like you might. A fly is a sponger. When it lands, it sponges back and forth looking for food. A grasshopper is a chewer. Its mouth is shaped to chew grass and leaves. A scorpion is a pincher. It has no teeth. Its mouth has pinchers inside. A mosquito is a bloodsucker. It stabs with its needle-shaped face. A butterfly is a sipper. It uses a curly tube proboscis like a straw. Is a Darwin beetle a clipper? No, it uses its long jaws to flip and throw other insects. Look at all those. Strong. Ants can lift things that are much heavier than they are. They can raise between 20 and 50 times their own weight. 20 and 50 times their own weight. Wow! Speed fact, most ants travel less than 1 mile an hour. Green ants walk a little slower than army ants. If you were an ant, you could lift a car or a pickup truck or maybe an elephant. If you could lift 20 to 50 times your own weight. Wow! Myrmecology is the scientific study of ants. Weightlifters. Here's a leafcutter ant raising a huge chunk of a leaf. Army ants weigh more than green ants. So army ant is more than green ant. This means greater than, and this means less than. This is a dinosaur ant picking up a stone. Here's a bulldog ant lifting its precious larvae. Greatest weapon. The green ant's greatest weapon is their numbers. The ants warn one another of danger by releasing a chemical called a pheromone. Thousands of ants are called to battle to protect their colony. Ants bite their enemies to death. Another important weapon is how well organized green ants are. They work together to build an ant bridge across a gap. Go green. Green ants are camouflage. They hide more easily in green leaves. You see how that would be? Yeah. Imagine these guys all lined up against the green leaf. Weapon. The army ant's greatest weapon is also their huge numbers. Any animal can fight against one ant, but can you fight 1,000,000 ants? Army ants are also camouflaged. They are brown and black. Army ants blend in against the dark ground and the dead leaves they walk on. Zoology is the study of animals. Farmer ants. Leafcutter ants are like farmers. They grow their own food. These ants make piles of insect and leaf parts and grow fungus, and then they eat the fungus. Storage ants. Honeypot ants store honey in their abdomens so that the colony will have food. Look at that. Ants are so organized that scientists use them as models of human behavior. Cowboy ants. Herder ants herd cattle. They capture aphids, a small insect, and they corral or they keep them for future meals. The ants eat a liquid produced by the aphids. Landscaper ants. Some ants are landscapers. They prune and weed around their colony. Any path that enemies could use to attack the colony is cut back. That way they can see what's coming. And then there's a little word game. And let's see, at the trunk of a tree, a few army ants attack some wandering green ants. The green ants spray folic acid into the air. The folic acid, that was the pheromone that we talked about before, alerts the other green ants nearby to join the fight. They drop what they're doing and head to battle. The spray irritates the eyes of the army ants and makes it hard for them to breathe. Uh-oh, it's a full battle. Thousands of green ants are fighting thousands of army ants. The green ants try to trick the army ants. The green ants are clever. They divert the fight away from the queen. If the queen is saved, then the colony can live on. The army ants have greater numbers and start winning the battle. The army ants advance in an overwhelming force. Ants, and more army ants. The green ants retreat. They realize they can't win the massive battle they began. This war is no fun. The army ants win. There are many dead green ants to eat. The army ants have a feast. The surviving green ants return to their queen. Tomorrow, they will rebuild their colony. Wow, and then here's a little checklist. If you want to recreate this at home, who has the advantage checklist? And the items are jaws, acid spray, stinger, numbers, speed, weight, and camouflage. And then you can check off which one has which. If you were the author, how would you rewrite the ending? Remember, we don't really know who would actually win. It's just based on the science of their bodies and how they live and the way they work together, which one the author thinks would win. But because they don't live in the same places, they're really not gonna run into each other. Remember, here we are in California, the green ants are in Australia, here we're in California, and the army ants are in South America and Africa. I hope you enjoyed who would win, green ants versus army ants. Now this is a nonfiction book, so it is going to be in our nonfiction section, and it will be by our insects in 595.7, and then it's in order by the author's last name, so P-A-L. Hope you guys enjoyed it.